Lucas, and we're here again, second day in a row, just to celebrate Steve Wilks and his bringing into the fold. But first, before we even get to anything, we got to hit the music. What's going on, y'all? Once again, it's Peter Lucas, and this is the Niner Fanatic Podcast. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you look at everywhere I'm at, like on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on anywhere where you can get your audio podcast. I don't care where you get it, just get it. But today, special day today. We are celebrating the fact that we hired on Steven Wilks, and this is really what is going to be a big hire. And the reason why I'm celebrating it is that this could have gone in so many different directions. And if the 49ers didn't get somebody to replace D'Amico, I think D'Amico was such an important piece of this team, not just the defense, but this team, that if they didn't replace that presence on this team, then it was going. I think that there was possible that they could take a step back, but I think Wilks brings enough to the table and brings enough of a pedigree to the table that these players, because we have a lot of really good players and a lot of strong personalities, and it could have easily. I think this is a guy that they could bring in and make sure that he kind of he automatically demands respect and gets the guys to buy in right away. So, and I mean, we've heard nothing but glowing remarks about him from his former players on the Panthers. So I think this is a huge pickup for the 49ers. And I'm going to say what's going on to Damian. Appreciate you coming through, fam. And Bebop, always coming through. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Did it myself. But this is it's an exciting time because not only is it a big hire for the 49ers, but it just kind of shows you that they are not taking. I don't think they're going to take their foot off the gas. And if anything, just because Kyle always loses coaches. He's lost so many coaches at this point but as many coaches as he's lost, it seems like the team still just keeps getting better every single season. And for all we know, this might just be the next evolution of the team. And I think at the very least, it's going to be a new voice. Steve Wilks has a little bit different of a pedigree than D'Amico Ryans. And D'Amico Ryans was more about, the linebackers. Of course, he was the linebacker. I think Stephen Wilks has more of that defensive back pedigree, and which honestly has been a weakness of the 49ers for a while now. And when I say weakness, it's not really a weakness. It's just that was probably the weakest area of the team is those corner spots. And I'm really looking forward to him. Really, I kind of tweeted it out earlier, really leveling up those guys and giving them more confidence, giving them some more things to think about, and maybe getting another level out of Charvarius Ward. I mean, he was really good this season for the most part, pretty much the whole season. And if they can think about the Womacs, think about Diamador Lenore played serviceable, but if they bring Mosley back, I mean, this secondary is looking elite, and don't think that they're not going to draft somebody. I think they're still going to draft somebody, and he may not be right away like getting a whole bunch of reps, but I think that they're going to bring in some depth in the secondary this offseason. And the more I'm looking at the free agents and the draft class, this draft class isn't as I think it's another deep draft class. I'm going all the way to sixth, seventh round. Now, granted, we're not going to know really what it is and how deep it is until at least the combine. So we can talk about the Senior Bowl. We could talk about, but we could talk about a lot of things, but and what we've seen from these guys in college. But until we get those combine numbers, we really don't know where these guys are gonna potentially land. And even then, when the draft hits, you know how it goes. And nobody ever knows the way the draft is gonna fall. We can speculate and we can think that we know best on where to pick everything, but I mean, nobody knew who Spencer Burford was before the draft. No one. No one knew who Nick Sakel was before the draft. There's a lot of guys. Nobody knew who Sam Womack was before the draft. Like I would. There's been a lot of guys over the years of especially with this regime that they just kind of go out of left field sometimes, and um, but I think they've proven themselves in the later rounds, and so I'm looking forward to seeing doing my mock drafts and then being heartbroken when the draft hits, because they didn't pick the guys that I've already set my mind on who they should get. So, but with that being said, hey, I see some more people enter the chat. Man, we got Damian saying, hope Brian Burns and Cameron Irving come with Steve. Man, it would be nice. It would be nice. Like if we could get Brian Burns, but I mean, they're about to break off Bosa. And this team always figures out a way to bring in more talent. It's not usually splashy, but they always find a way to bring guys in, and then those guys either outperform what we thought they were going to be, or it ends up being a way better situation than we thought in the first place. But Brian came in. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Like, what's up, faithful? Yeah, Bebop says next man up. It's just, yeah, that's the way the 49ers roll. They're constantly, it's nobody's safe. Let's put it that way. Nobody's safe. They don't just sit on their laurels and just think, oh, okay, well, this is fine. This guy is solidified in his position. I feel like they're always going to draft. They're getting depth. They showed that last season is that they are all about depth at this point. And those guys if you go down, don't think your job can't get taken. I mean, I don't think Trey thought that Brock Purdy was going to even threaten his job. But here we are. And half the fan base is wanting Brock Purdy to start over him. So yeah, I think that depth is always a good thing. I think competition is always a good thing with these players. And I love that kind of culture that Shanny brings with him. But and everybody's saying hi, saying what's up to each other. But yeah, back to Steve Wilks. I think that he has. I was watching some videos. He's been mic'd up for practices and that kind of stuff. And I've heard some of what the players have said about him, and I'm really encouraged. I love what he brings to the culture, because I think that that's the most important. I think that that's what Shanny's done a great job of cultivating. Is this culture in this building? The players love this franchise. It feels like to me. I could just be saying that, but that's the vibe that we get. Even though Debo was going through his contract stuff last offseason, you could tell it hurt him a little bit to not be with his brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is a huge. It's just a huge aspect of the team that not every franchise has, and it's gonna really come down to I think another aspect of Wilkes is not just the what he brings to the culture, but how he can help Shanny. Because I think that he gives a soundboard D'Amico, like he's kind of younger guy, but Steve Wilkes has been around a long time, and I think Brad was breaking down all the places he's been and all the different places that he's seen. And I think that that's a voice that Shanny might actually listen to, because we talk about how Shanny always has these he has these ego issues. And I would hope that somebody could be in the building that could get past the ego a little bit and get and like maybe just be a soundboard for him to bounce ideas off of, and maybe even the other way. Because this is a guy that was a head coach for a season. He was a replacement interim head coach last season. He's a guy that if the 49ers play well again this season, if this defense plays well again, he's going to be up for a head coaching position next season too. I think I'm pretty confident in that. So this is a guy that demands respect, like I said, and I think that that's another reason why why they brought him in, is it's just a guy that commands respect. But I wanted, before we get into the call-in portion, I want to talk about I want to talk a little bit about Shanahan and what people have been talking about the last couple of days about his play calling and about his what he's they're criticizing that he should be trying to protect his quarterbacks, the quarterback injuries, and all the other stuff. This is the thing about Shanny's system, right? The more I look into it, the more it seems to me that that's part of what makes Shanny's system go, is its risk and reward. And the reason why is he's always going to put his guys in danger. If you don't want him to put his guys in danger, then you probably don't want Shanahan's offense altogether. So I think that that's something that I think Shanahan is the guy. I think Shanahan is, even with the ego issues, even though he doesn't make all the decisions the way I necessarily would make them, I do have a lot of confidence in Shanny. I just want him to be better. I want him to get to a point to where he can figure out a way to keep his quarterbacks healthy. But if you look at it, I think he's depending. He told you in the press conference who he is and what his scheme is. He told you that Brock probably should have thrown a little early. Brock should have stepped up in the pocket. That's what I think. That's the way he pitches it to the players, and the players are going to take that as a mistake on their part, not on Shanny's. They're going to understand that it's football and that Shanny is because all that's going to show after the play is over is that he had a guy wide open, and that's what they're going to show him on the tape the next time they meet up. They're not going to show him. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, I shouldn't have. You know what? I shouldn't have put you in danger like that." That's not what he's going to say in the meeting room. He's going to say, "Look, if you would have thrown this a second earlier, this would have been a huge play and possibly a touchdown." That's what's being said in the meeting room. So for us to kind of expect him to talk in any other manner, I think it's a little naive. But Shannon's shown you who he is this whole time, and I get it if people don't want that. If like, and I get it that people are going to criticize. It's fine to criticize. It's absolutely a different idea when you're talking about getting rid of the guy. But I don't think that everybody's talking like that. I don't think that they want him gone. I think that it's just more of there's a lot of hurt feelings out there right now, and that they're expecting him to cater to their fandom, and that's not Shanny. He's not going to cater to the fans. He's not going to cater to the critics. He's not going to cater to the reporters. He's not going to cater to anybody. It's just not going to happen. You heard what Jimmy Ward said when he went in there and wanted to get his spot back. Shanny's like, what? You want to sit the bench? That's how direct this man is. And I'm sure that the players actually respect it, because I know that when I talk to my boss, I would rather him tell me the blatant, honest truth than to beat around the bush. So that's me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's the type of leader that I gravitate towards. But That's the kind of the way I see it. But we're gonna get into this call in. I'm about to put the link in the chat. Hopefully everybody's still around for after my rant. But uh he said Damian said, since today is Matt Stafford B-Day, I want to send a picture of the Niners front four defense. Yeah, I mean, that's a gift that keeps on giving, right? Like, but yeah, I'm gonna put this link in the chat. Hopefully, some people are still waiting around to get in, and yeah, it's so yeah, I invite you guys to come in and talk. Like I enjoyed having Brian on yesterday. And but yeah, I want you guys to get in. I want you guys to get your takes off because this is by no means is my opinion the only opinion in 49er land. Like I love other opinions because it gives me something an alternative thought process to think about, if that makes sense. Because obviously, I don't know everything. I don't think anybody really knows everything. But you know what can happen is we can get more clarity when all of us come up with different ideas. So that's the way I look at it. But while we're waiting for somebody to jump in, the I am going to talk about a little bit about McGlinchey. So, and this is another aspect of the offseason. McGlinchey's free agent, right? Everybody thinks that they want McGlinchey gone. And not that I don't think that the 49ers should upgrade. I think it's bad timing. Uh I would love to see them be able to upgrade, but the upgrade is not in house right now. I don't think Spencer Rivers might be that guy. I've watched a lot of guys say that he could move outside. He has the measurables and all that stuff. I mean, it's possible, but if we're looking outside to up, there's like one guy that I'm looking at, and he's probably going to get franchised, which is Jawan Taylor out off of Jacksonville. And I mean, everybody else, I don't see. Yeah, I think you might as well just stay with McGlinchey. And even Juwan, but the one thing about Jawan Taylor is he doesn't miss games. Uh, I mean, the guy has started every regular season game of his career. So I would that's a guy that if he makes it past if they don't franchise tag him, the 49ers would be silly not to make an offer to that guy. He's probably going to ask for at least 13 to 14 mil a year, but you can play with the funny money and make it work. Like it can happen. Like Parag is like the master of turning the money around and like make it seem like it's not as the contract not seem as bad as it was, and they'll restructure some guys to open up some more space, and they'll be able to re-sign Bosa. People forget that they signed Trent Williams, they got Alex Mack, and they re-signed a bunch of guys just a couple of seasons ago. So don't think that they can't make it work if they feel they need to. But another spot that I'm really kind of looking for is that center spot because the other our center he's a free agent also, and I'm interested to find out what he's going to ask for in free agency. Because I mean, I think he was serviceable, but I don't think he deserves any kind of crazy amount of money. But there's a few centers out there that could um that could command a pretty penny. Like that could when I say pretty penny, I'm talking between 10 and 12 a year. Like that's what I saw on Spotrac. So there's some options out there for center. So that's an interesting spot to look at in free agency is that center spot because are these teams are they going to franchise all of them? They're going to franchise their center, or are they going to let them play the market? And if they play the market, I think Shanny should, because there's a lot of, and when I say there's a lot of options out there. Jason Kelsey's an unrestricted free agent. I'd be surprised if the Eagles didn't bring him back. But there's a lot of guys that are on their first. This will be their first deal. they're coming out of their rookie deals. At least 3 of them that I saw that were, and I'm hoping that I can bring it up. But yeah, there was like 3 of them that I saw. The guy from Minnesota, um, and man, blanking on his name right now, but uh, it's but yeah, it's there's a lot of options out there for right now. We just don't know. We just don't know if there's going to be like how their teams are feeling about their because they can't franchise everybody. They got one guy, and then it's free. It's open season for everybody. So yeah, what do you do? What do you do? And um, I would personally go over. I would go after the center before I went after the right tackle. That's just me. I think that center is a spot on the 49ers that has been in flux since the Shanahan regime has started. They can't keep a guy like healthy in that center spot. Now Brendel started every season, or I mean every game this season. Like he's the only guy that's been able to stay healthy, but he's serviceable, just like we were talking about. And the I'm trying to get to those free agents, but it would be nice to have a guy that you just put in there and put in and forget it. But let's see, where is it? I just saw it. Connor McGovern was a guy that I was looking at, but I'm not really. He's almost 30. But I was looking at Garrett Bradbury from Minnesota. I think that he's going to get franchise tag because I saw on Twitter they're already talking about franchising him, and then that they may be forced to franchise him. And then there was another guy that I was looking at. I think it's Bradley. I think it's Bradley Bozeman I think it's Bradley Bozeman that I'm looking at, and that he might be a guy that they might bring. I don't think that they should bring in another veteran. Like I'll be perfectly honest. I think that the veterans that they've brought that they bring in that you got them for like 2 or 3 years and then you got to move on again and then you got to build continuity. I think that they need to solidify the position, and that is a spot on this specifically in Shanahan's offense that I think would help out Trent Williams immensely if they could solidify that and have a leader in that spot for once. So um yeah, I would just, and nobody's wanting to call in, but it's all good. I'll talk. Like I'll keep talking and telling you guys about these different free agents. But Damien's asking, how much would you offer McGlinchey? So this is the thing, McGlinchey. I would offer McGlinchey about maybe 9 or 10. I would say 10. I would offer him 10 a year, but he's probably gonna command 13 to 14. I think those are going to be the initial offers because all they're going to see is the numbers and the statistics, and they're not going to take into account that he was just bad in inopportune moments. To us, to 49er fans, he's inconsistent at best, but that's not what the statistics say. The statistics say that he's one of the better right tackles in the game. So it is what it is. And that's why I think that it's going to surprise 49er fans how much this guy actually gets. But I wouldn't offer him more than 10. Like and honestly, it would be like a 2-year deal, maybe. Only because there's nothing really out there. I think you got McGarry from and honestly, when I say that there's nothing out there's not really anything that's not a veteran, like a longer in the tooth veteran out there. There's just a lot that there's only a couple of guys that are coming out of their rookie deals that are willing to that are able to solidify that position, because that's really what I'm looking for when I'm looking to team build. I'm looking to solidify the position, and in order to solidify the position, you're gonna. I don't think veteran is the way to go because those are the guys. Once they start getting longer into their career, they're gonna start breaking down. And to nothing against them, they can. Some of them don't, but I wouldn't want to chance it. I would want to get a guy in there that could be there for years to come. And eventually, as that salary cap goes up, their deals end up becoming a deal, a bargain. So yeah, get them locked up now, and then and then once you get them locked up long term, then you'll see that savings long term as long as they don't get injured. And I mean, it's always a crapshoot, but the yeah, Bozeman from Carolina is available. That was the guy that I was bringing up, and yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I would. These are things that I would look at, but I'm not quite sure that how Shanny has said in the past that he really values that center position, but and I guess I mean he finally got Max Lack last year. They had and I'm blanking on the guy's name that we had before, but they had gotten a guy that they had spent a bunch of money on, and he just couldn't stay healthy. And but he was supposed to solidify the position, and it just didn't happen. So I think Shanny wants to solidify the position, but let's see. I think it just depends on who's available. Since Bradley Bozeman is from Carolina, who knows? Maybe Wilks can play a little role in that. Who knows? But we'll see. And then, we got Wolf in the house. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Hey, hit the link if you want to, bro. Come on up and talk with me for a couple minutes. And then we got Damian. I would give McGlinchey Weston Richburg. That's who I was blanking on his name, but yeah, Weston Richburg we thought was going to be our center for the foreseeable future, and it just didn't turn out that way. It just was bad. Him and the defensive end were D Ford were just an album. Like I mean, their contracts were just strangling us around the neck for years, and it was just unlucky. Like a lot of things with the 49ers, it was just unlucky. But and then after they finally got Alex Mack in, and he was serviceable, but he was on the tail end of his career. Obviously, he retired after one season, and so. But I would look to really solidify that position in my opinion. But Damian said I would give McGlinchey a 2-year, $17 million with incentives. That's, I mean, I think that is I think that they could offer him that. I think that they could offer him that, but there's going to be a team out there that's going to break the bank. They're like, when you're saying 2 years, they're going to offer it. Because remember, McGlinchey's young. McGlinchey's coming out of his rookie deal. Like, so he's probably going to get like 4-year offers, like 4 and 5 year offers. Maybe not 5, but 3 and 4 year offers. And so that means we're talking 12, 20, like 12, 4, like 48 over 4, maybe. Like I just at the base level, I think somebody's going to offer him more than that. So I think everybody's going to be surprised at how much is given to McGlinchey. I just don't be surprised. but yeah, it's so with that being said, it's this free agency, and I'm talking a lot about free agency because that comes first before the draft. And we won't know what the 49ers are even going to be looking for in the draft, or that we think they're going to be looking for in the draft, until we find out what they get in free agency. And I think that the people are going to once again expect Bosa to get signed right away. You know, they're going to sign him on their timeline. So don't expect for that deal to be done until training camp. So yeah, I'm hoping that people don't do the exact same thing that they did last year with Debo and get excited when it doesn't happen right away. That the Bosa deal is going to happen. It's not even a question. Like, it's not even a question if that's going to happen. It's going to get done. Nobody should worry about it. Everybody thought that in the beginning, like that the Debo one was gonna fall through. Everybody assumed that he was gonna get a deal. Then he did. Then he took scrubbed his Instagram or whatever you want to call it, and then we all went into a panic. Well, I didn't, but a lot of people did. They held all the leverage in that situation. Now, this Bosa situation, 49ers don't have a lot of leverage. Bosa and his family, and they are a smart bunch of people, and I'm sure that they've been planning this for a while now. And Bosa, I guess, came out and said that he's not going to be looking for top DN money. I hope so. Like, I mean, I don't really care like how much money he gets. I just want the deal done. I hope he gets as much money as he needs to get, but still leaving the 49ers with some kind of flexibility. Like, I mean, I'm about the team. So I want the players to get paid, but I also want my team to have flexibility with what they can do and the players that they can bring in. So I'm sure he wants to win. Bosa's a very competitive guy. Like, we've seen the press conferences. So I want to see it. I'm sure he wants to see he wants to keep winning. And he knows that they're going to have to pay Trey. He knows that they're going to have to, the Ayuk's contract is coming up. What they're going to do with that? There's a whole lot. 49ers got so many good players that everybody's not going to be able to stay. So it's going to be really dependent on them to keep getting hits in the draft, right? So, but Brian says exactly. I don't know which part you're agreeing with, but but yeah, like, I appreciate the sentiment. And Brian also says after free agency, we'll be able to draft best player available. Exactly. I think with as deep as this 49er team is, that's what they should be doing every season at this point. Just getting the best player that they can get, figure out the rest later. Like, and Damian said, I want a return specialist. Ever since that game against the Giants, Kyle Williams, we have been in a need. And, I like Ray Ray. I really like Ray Ray. But I will say, I can't say that I wasn't really disappointed when he fumbled in the playoffs, because it felt like he hadn't fumbled really since the beginning of the season. And you choose right now. This is not the time, Ray Ray. This is not the time. You can't be saving it for the playoffs. I think it gave us all palpitations. And so, yeah, Ray, come on, man. Like, I like Ray. He's signed, I think, for another year. So I think I'm pretty sure he got signed for another year. So I think we're going to be stuck with Ray. I think maybe even Danny Gray might get involved in that. Who knows? Like, but I would look for some of these guys that didn't get playing time this year that they drafted, like the Drake Jacksons, like the Sam Womacs, like those guys. Remember what they did with Aaron Banks? We all thought he was trash. We all assumed he was trash because he wasn't getting any playing time. And then the next season he comes in and he gives up one sack. Crazy to even think about. He was one of the best offensive linemen on the line, probably next to Trent Williams. That's it. Like, so I think, and Sam Womack, these guys have showed flashes. It's just they just weren't priorities, I guess. Like, they saw it another way. Shanny and the team saw it another way. So they all have to go through Shanny's doghouse, I think, at some point. I think that's the way he kind of baptizes them by fire and makes them want it. He wants to see if they want it enough to have to sit out and work for it. Like, that's the mantra. And you can't really argue with the results. Like, I mean, Hufanga didn't have to do it, but I mean, Hufanga's a beast. And I know that he gives up the occasional snafu in coverage, but I mean, I like the players that they brought in. So it is what it is. And Brian said, yeah, Ray made up for it. He did, but I still don't want to see him fumble. Like, I think he's come a long way from when he was on Pittsburgh. I think he fumbled quite a bit in Pittsburgh, but I kind of want to see Ray in the passing game. I see him get more involved in that. And I think that we'll get that opportunity more so when when I want to see it with Trey. I want to see it with Trey because they can throw the ball downfield more often. And and Damien says Ray Ray is like the Titanic. Titanic had a good 4 days, but had a very bad 2. Yeah, I mean, he's not a world beater. Let's say that. But I think he's a good piece. I think he's a good piece. I think he's what we thought Richie James was going to be. And uh, I liked Richie James, and but I feel like Ray Ray is in that same position. He's stuck as a punt and kick returner, and if he gets in the game, like it's going to be maybe one play because the 49ers are so deep in the at receiver, but it is what it is. But with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody call in today, but look out. I'm gonna be here tomorrow. I want you guys to get used to make sure that you tell everybody that I'm doing daily shows now. We're trying to keep it to 30 minutes and because I want to see you guys every day. I want you guys to get more of a voice, get involved with the show. So with that being said, make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend so that we can be friends every day now. Like now we're friends every day. And Brian said it's a great show. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through. I appreciate all of you guys coming through. You guys have been really faithful to me, and the growth of the channel is showing. I really appreciate it. I can't say it enough. But with that being said, we're going to get out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. With that being said, hey, don't forget, subscribe, share. Tell everybody about it because we're trying to grow this. I want to get people into this into the chat. I want the chat to get crazy. I want and I want you guys to come on the call in with me. So yeah, tell anybody that wants to get on, come through. Pete's looking for people to come through. And but yeah, with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a good night. Go Niners.